To say that Burzum didn't influence black metal is like saying that the Big Mac didn't influence American obesity. Though I highly doubt you'd want Varg Involvement asking you if you wanted fries with that, and considering those fries would probably secretly be knives or homemade bombs. Yeah, Burzum definitely influenced black metal, and Varg puts the Z in crazy, and considering Burzum has a Z in it, it all kind of makes sense. Burzum is certainly one of the most polarizing bands that black metal has ever produced, and Varg being at its center definitely doesn't help. There are definitely folks that love Burzum, not to mention love Varg, but here are 5 reasons why people hate Burzum and, I guess in a sense, hate Varg. So we start with number 5, and that's Varg's involvement with the church burnings. Yeah, this is one that's certainly going to cause a little bit of debate, considering the church burnings were considered a very important facet of the black metal culture. But of course, black metal being one that's suited and really centered in a lot of the more evil side of heavy metal and the more evil side of humanity, you can see where the church burning certainly didn't make fans with a number of individuals. In fact, probably scared the living hell out of them. Whether it was domestically over in Scandinavia or whether it was overseas in other markets, once people got wind of the name Burzum, got wind of the name Varg, heard about church burnings and happened to be good school and church-going individuals, they probably distanced themselves a little bit from the fold. But this is something that doesn't just manifest itself from the early 1990s whenever all of these arsons were taking place. It's something that takes root firmly in just about every year ever since then. It's something where if you are investigating some music, check out Burzum and happen to be a Christian and learn of some of the things of the past, it may actually cause you to either stop or just not investigate the band any further. This is certainly one that will always haunt the band, but certainly one that the band and really the entire scene that partook in that really could care less about. That's kind of the one thing about some of these selections. You might hate him for those reasons, but there's a good chance that Varg probably doesn't give 2 shits. Number 4, speaking of Varg, he's fucking insane. Yeah, we've heard about the church burnings, and we're going to be talking about some other fun and fancy things that Varg has decided to do with his pastime whenever he's not making music. We'll get to that. But Varg himself and his views are considered to be controversial, not to mention just a little bit wackadoodled. He spent a lot of time in prison, and that's based off of something else that we're going to talk about. Believe me, we're going to talk about it. It's going to be there. Please, just calm down. Don't piss your pants. But considering Varg and his different opinions that have been thrust out there, it certainly has caused a lot of uneasiness, a lot of unrest, but we're going to get to the views a little bit more so later on. Varg has always been seen as a bit of a polarizing figure, that's one that seems to be right and teetering on the grounds between being somebody who's good-natured that's just a bit of a conspiracy whack job, to somebody who's just flat out evil and is trying to launch World War III by himself. Based around that, he can be seen as a figure that easily his words or his actions can cause a lot of defection away from the Burzum camp and perhaps even away from black metal in general, thinking that everybody is like him, even though there really is only one Varg, and like we said, he puts the Z in crazy. Number 3, his involvement with the stabbing death of Euronymous. Now, this one is going to certainly cause a lot of debate also, considering the opinions that most folks have about Varg and Euronymous as a duo, and definitely those who feel that Euronymous was definitely not exactly acting in the best interest of a lot of black metal's artists in that early time, that a lot of attention was starting to come down on all of these artists, and it was not going to be very good, that Euronymous had essentially sold a lot of his friends out, or former friends, colleagues. Basically, all that you need to know is that during the first part of the 1990s, it seemed like, Burzum and the rest of the collective first wave of black metal were trying to play this weird game of horse with people's lives, which basically means that one person does something that's insane, and then somebody from another band tries to out-insane the other person, and it all eventually culminated with the stabbing death of Euronymous. It was based around a power struggle, at least that's the claim, and it's something that caused Varg to be convicted and sentenced to 21 years for murder. Now, he was out in 15, so in 2009, Varg was released upon the world once again. However, this has been a hot-button topic and a hot-button debate in the black metal universe ever since it's happened. Was it something where Varg was acting in self-defense, or was it something where Euronymous had that shit coming? Euronymous fans will constantly hate Varg, Varg fans will constantly hate Euronymous. It's something that's circular, and it's something that's not going away anytime soon, even though it's a little bit more muted these days, though with the evolution of brand new heavy metal fans that are catching wind and reading up on what exactly happened on that fateful night, you might be getting round 2 or round 3 or whatever fucking round it is. This isn't a boxing match. Coming very soon to an inbox, either that or social media site near you. It's still talked about quite a bit. Number 2, that dark ambient phase. Now, this is a really stupid reason why people hate Burzum or why people hate Varg, because they feel that the dark ambient phase of the late 1990s was somehow his fault, but in reality, he made the best of what he had available to him. Now, most people think that whenever you go to prison, you sit in a cell, you go out and you pump a lot of iron, you read a lot of stuff, you come out really weird, and you also engage in a lot of hoity-toity acts of homosexuality. Yeah, that's kind of what everybody thinks, but in reality, Varg was given the opportunity to record some music. However, he was only offered a synthesizer and a very crude recorder. That way, he was able to get some music out there. He recorded 2 albums that were part of a dark ambient phase of Burzum in the latter portion of the 1990s that have titles that I can't say because I'm not from the right country, and I don't want to sound like an ignorant prick, because if I do, Varg might kill me. This is something that is really... it's lauded a lot in the heavy metal universe. These are seen as horrible albums, but in reality, based off of all that he had to work with, Varg did what he could. Now, this is something that would continue a little bit further on into his career. He would not be shy to reintroduce some of this dark ambient element to some of his newer albums from the 2010s. However, these 2 albums are seen as especially poor. It's seen as a reason why a lot of people don't get into Burzum, because it's the first things that they listen to and they're immediately turned off, when in reality, if you want to get into some of the classics of black metal that Burzum was able to put out, you should just go a little bit further back, to the early part of the 1990s, whenever all those people were dying and churches were becoming, one with the ground. Number 1, and once again, similar to Varg being insane, Varg's views, and really Varg himself, is the number 1 reason why people hate Burzum. It's amazing whenever the central figure, and really the only figure that the band really has to offer, is the biggest reason why people want absolutely nothing to do with him. And this is something that's occurred over the past, say 5 to 10 years, as more and more of his views that we've talked about with him being insane have started to come out. And these are more than just crackpot theories. He's come out against homosexuals, he's come out against black people, he seems to support an Aryan Brotherhood, or, a superior race for Europe, and really it's something that's garnered a lot of attention, to the point where there have been articles out there that say, if you really want this to go away, just stop talking about it, stop covering it, and stop looking to get Varg to produce you a headline. Now, this isn't exactly the same thing as Gene Simmons, Ted Nugent, or one of the other people of the Mount Shut the Fuck Up Rushmore of heavy metal do in order to get themselves a little bit of attention. These are Varg's actual views. This is his philosophy. He's done a lot of reading and he's done a lot of writing, some of which was done during his prison times, and he's also one that has certainly backed up some of those things with his actions, considering he's stockpiled ammunition, he's stockpiled some other things that go boom, and Varg doesn't exactly seem like the type that has a good self-conscious realization between right and wrong. That trigger seems a bit hairline, and it could basically pop at any time. I might actually be causing it, though it's doubtful. But Varg's views have certainly been something that has caused many folks to stray away from his music, feeling that even though it's in a different language that they don't understand, that somehow, some way, he's actually concocting and delivering some sort of savage manifesto, almost as though he's the second coming of Hitler. Not so much, but even still, a lot of the stuff that he talks about is extremely out there, and considering there's a ton of SJWs roaming this world that are triggered by basically stubbing their toe, either that or having some burnt toast for breakfast as opposed to that perfect golden sheen, this is certainly something that's going to take a lot of people away from the genre or not bring very many people in. But once again, as I said before, Varg probably doesn't give a shit. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, 5 reasons why people hate Burzum, or, well, really, this was 5 reasons why people hate Varg, but since Varg is Burzum, it kind of makes sense. Thanks to the gentleman who was hounding me to actually do this 5 reasons video. It was one that was interesting to read up on all of this stuff again. I hadn't for a couple of years. And if you have a suggestion for a 5 reasons video, leave it in the comments below. And if you're a fan of the series, hit the subscribe button. This is something that has been quite awesome. I'm very happy that you guys are interested. For now, my name is coverkillernation, and I'll talk to all of you guys next time. Take care.